Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Geese Online iMSM webinar today. My name is Kate Deering. I am a coordinator within Gies Online in the recruitment and admissions space. We are very excited to have you here today. I am going to just give everyone a couple seconds here to join us. We have some great registration numbers today, so we're excited to have all of you here to learn a little bit about our programs. While we're waiting, I am going to throw a poll up and let's see where everyone's from. It's always fun to see all the different countries that we have represented, kind of like our programs. But we always get excited to see if we have somebody from most of these areas. So it looks like we do tonight. Mexico, Europe, Asia. This is really, really great. I am here in Champaign, Illinois, where the University of Illinois is, in Champaign-Urbana. My colleagues here that we'll introduce in a second are in Chicago. And Mohammed, remind me where you are located. Are you in Germany?
Yes, now I'm in Berlin, but usually I'm at travel.
Okay, awesome. Well, great. Mohammed is here. We are going to have Mohammed introduce himself in a little bit, but he is one of our student ambassadors within the iMSM program. So thank you for sharing where you are all from. I'm going to go ahead and end that poll. Feel free to throw in the chat if you're just joining us where you're from. We love to hear it. While we're waiting, you may have noticed this QR code on the screen. If you would like to have one of our admission counselors or myself call you back or email you back sooner than later, so we can discuss your goals or any questions that you have about the program, go ahead and scan that code. A quick little form will pop up and then we'll reach back out to you. So super easy. As far as housekeeping goes today, my colleague Allison Hodina is here. She is going to handle the Q&A and the chat. A little advice, I would love for your questions as we go through the presentation. Throw all your questions in the Q&A. That's the best place for us to have your questions and house them there so that everybody can see Allison's responses. She's really great and quick to respond. And then we'll kind of save that chat for a little bit more of your fun comments or your fun engagement like you would in one of our live classes, for instance. So keep those questions coming in the Q&A. Don't forget that we have Mohammed here. He is one of our student ambassadors. He throw questions for him. If you have a question about the iMSM experience or anything that you'd like to ask Mohammed, feel free to put those there. And Allison will kind of keep track of those and we can kind of circle back to those towards the end. A little bit about our agenda today. We are going to cover the Geese Business Online model. To start with, we'll do a program overview of the iMSM program. We will talk about the curriculum and the content, application tips and tricks, and then of course we'll have time for a Q&A at the end. But while I have you here, I'm curious why, you haven't applied to graduate education yet. What is your biggest hesitancy in pursuing graduate education at this time? Is it the online format, the cost, ROI? You're not sure if you're going to, get your money back out of the program. We're going to cover most of these things during our time together, but it's always good to know where everybody's coming from. So go ahead and fill that poll out. While you're finishing that, I'm definitely going to give you a few more seconds to do that. I want to introduce Mohammed, who was our guest panelist today. We love having some of our student ambassadors present during some of these webinars just to be able to give you the real experience and share tips and tidbits about his experience in the program. So Mohammed, would you explain a little bit about your background, introduce yourself, and maybe towards the end, let us know why you chose to pursue your master's in management?
Hi, I'm Mohammed. Glad to be here in a few hours. My last semester in Geese starts and I'll graduate this semester. I started my career in the management consultancy field and then gradually moved to the financial sector. Now I'm a managing partner and investor, mainly working with the European Commission. And so a lot of projects all around Europe, but mainly, I mean, the big cities of Germany. And there were a lot of reasons why I chose Geese, why I chose iMSM, and but the main one was the keyword flexibility. I was quite sure for a while, and that I wanted to continue my education, but I wasn't quite sure. Okay, does this align with my schedule? Can I just leave or resign or something to go for a full-time business school? So, but at least in my undergrad, I knew I wasn't kind of a doctorate person who's gonna go to lab or research or something. So I have maybe a little bit narrow options. I know I wanted to go to business school. So we don't have that many online business school here in Europe. And with the options that Kate will cover in a few seconds, I guess we can then talk why I chose clearly Geese. And here I am. I will answer questions, whatever you have.
Excellent. Thanks for kind of sharing a little bit about your background, Mohammed. We are going to dive into a lot of your responses in that previous poll. How much time this program takes, will you see return on investment, how much it costs, all of those things we're going to cover and then some. So let's get back into our presentation. And just to start off, I did want to give you a little bit of an overview of the Geese Business Online model. And it is made up of three main qualities. The first one being flexibility. And Mohammed touched on this a little bit, but you are going to see this as a theme throughout our presentation. By flexible, we mean that there's no travel requirements. This program is 100% online, including all of your course and group work. So there's no reason to have to travel or actually leave the comfort of your home in order to do this program. It is paced to fit your needs with 8-week terms where you can take one course or two, depending on what your schedule is. So it is also really flexible with how we do our tuition billing. It's a pay-as-you-go model is what we follow. And so you only pay for whichever course that you are registered in as you move throughout the program. Not to mention also, it's just at an extremely affordable price to begin with. The second component of Geese Business Online is that it's stackable. Our credentials in our online program stack and they all work together. So you can take a single course if you just want to upskill, or you can stack that course into a certificate for credentialing. And then you could possibly take that credential, which is 3 courses, 3 Illinois courses, and we'll touch on this in a little bit, but you can apply that certificate towards a master's degree and earn that credit and stack those courses right into your degree. So this unique stackability really allows you the option to, first of all, try a course out. And then if you enjoy the experience, you can build from there until you're ready to take on a full degree. And then lastly, online by design means that this program was not adapted to be in this format. It was actually designed to be delivered to thousands of learners worldwide back in 2016, and we've only improved it since then. We created highly engaging content that you can, again, access anywhere, anytime without giving up your career or your family commitments. It's also was intentionally designed to have a lot of interaction with your university faculty members and also your fellow students. So you're going to be collaborating the whole time that you're with us at Geese. So when we talk about the stackability that I just mentioned in that last slide, this is a great illustration of that. I just wanted to show you this briefly. We have a lot of options within Geese. This kind of blocks on the right-hand side is what the Geese learner journey could look like if you were to take part in every single stackable step that we have. Keep in mind, You don't have to do every step, and you also do not have to do them in this order, which is really great. You can start with a free online MOOC or massive online open course from Coursera, and then you could build that into one of our Illinois courses. Those MOOCs give you really the foundational knowledge in a skill area, and then we will add on an Illinois component to that and build upon that with a high engagement component. Other stackable options, you can take that 4-credit course and add 2 more Illinois courses to that, and then earn a graduate certificate. We just started offering these campus graduate certificates, which are really amazing. They're all made up of 12 credit hours that you can stack into all 3 of our master's degree programs. So just a great option there to stack whatever you'd like in your learning process into a future degree. These campus certificates that I just wanted to mention also, those can really come into play wherever you are at your learning timeline. So if you've taken 1 4-credit course, you can add 2 more into that, and then you've earned your graduate certificate. Those are brand new. You can focus in areas like accounting, analytics, digital marketing, or strategic leadership and management. And then one other thing that we recently announced is the stackability of the iMSM degree into the IMBA degree. So excellent options. It's a first time ever thing for University of Illinois to be able to offer that stackability with those 2 degrees. This visual is just a little bit of an example of all of those different credentials. With all of them, you can create your own learner journey, and they don't have to be taken in any specific order, and you always are going to have options to expand your learning. So for the Master of Science in Management, some quick facts. This degree comes in at $11.5 thousand, and that's going to be the total cost, including all tuition and fees. And as I said earlier, we do have a pay-as-you-go model so that you only pay for that course that you're registered in. There's no lump sum payment. And there's also a lot of payment plans and payment options with our university bursar office that handles the tuition. This program, the iMSM, will take 12 to 24 months. And this is going to be dictated by how many courses you take at a time. You can take 1 course or you can take 2, depending on what your schedule is. If you take 1, you'll be more on that 2-year timeline. If you take 2 courses at a time, you'll be on that 1-year timeline. Mohammed, what has your plan been? Have you been doing 1 or 2 courses at a time?
Initially, my degree plan, I'm not sure if I will touch that degree plan website that we have. There's a website among all the tools we have. You can plan to see, okay, what are the requirements? So in the iMSM, it's 9 courses, in which some are mandatory, some you can choose from a range, a pool of courses. So I was initially planning on finishing in 2 years. Then, according to the schedule of my career, I decided to do it in 1 year. So last semester, I guess, around this time in October, I only took 1 course, but the semester after that, I took nothing, because there was some problem, and then I started taking 2 for each semester, and here we are. I'm in my last semester.
Okay, sounds good. So it sounds like you're able to kind of change it as you were moving through and your life changed, even taking an 8-week term off. So that's great. That speaks a lot to the flexibility of the program, and that, as I said, you get to decide what your pace is. We also do have 4 start dates for the MSM. So you can start in January, March, August, or October. So we did launch the MSM program back in fall of 2020 and had our first class graduate in fall of 21, which was very exciting. The average age of our students is 34 with 9.5 years of work experience, though we don't require any work experience for the MSM program. Currently, we have over 600 students in the program from 44 states and 67 countries. So very exciting there. And then lastly, 76 of our the Fortune 500 companies are represented in the MSM program. So we have many students with business backgrounds, but we also have a lot of students from all kinds of backgrounds, like the arts, super technical backgrounds, journalists, students in education. So many different backgrounds within the program. So the iMSM is going to provide you the essential leadership and management skills that you need to excel in your career. It was designed for working professionals, as is all of our online degrees, but the iMSM is going to be more for those either entering the workforce, looking for a real great foundation in leadership and management, or we also have a lot of professionals who have many years of technical experience that are looking to add on leadership and management skills to maybe take on a new role within their current position. And then lastly, the classes in the MSM will use real world challenges that companies face as the projects in the curriculum, so that you can you're going to really learn specific examples and really be able to take what you learn in your live classes and your group projects and use that immediately in your career. Mohammed, can you touch a little bit on maybe some examples of where you've seen the most impact of the MSM on your career so far?
We have different courses in different areas, from finance to leadership, from organization and to project management. So because my roles were almost in the same areas, but in the same field, let's say, but I wasn't very expert in a lot of them. I knew some terms about project management. I knew, okay, there are waterfall, agile, but I wasn't very proficient in the language they spoke in our teams. But after taking those courses, now I still, okay, I know what's happening there, which protocol has its advantages, disadvantages. And then with each of them, I can then decide which works best for each project. Or for example, in the organization course we had, it really helps in the process of one of our spin-offs. So we weren't quite sure how to manage these things. Then I suggested, at that time, I was taking the organization course, and I brought it up to my team. Okay, this is a real world example we can do. We're all professionals, we're all entrepreneurship like-minded, let's say. And I discussed it. It's an interesting part of Geese is you have access to a lot of different platforms to have a touch point with people. So being an online student doesn't mean you're sitting in your home watching something like a video clip or a YouTube clip or something like that. No, it's real world experiences. So I posted in the workplace, a subsidiary of the Meta these days, we call them, and say, okay, this is the thing, what everyone thinks, and these are it's a lifelong journey. So I know a few days ago I received an email about how's the graduation process gonna go, what perks I lose. For example, my free accounts are no longer available, but the huge community is still available forever. So you can see I can always talk to my friends, and if the new challenges arise, we can discuss, we can reach out to the professors and say, what do you think, what resources do you have? And it's one of the good things is I always felt of being part of the community of the Illinois in general, not Geese only. We are the business school part of the Illinois, but you can always pride of our what we achieved in the history. So the slogan always you usually see even below the post of our fellow alumni in the LinkedIn, for example, people chanting out ILL, INI. So you don't feel far from home.
We like to refer to everybody as our Geese family too. So exactly what you shared, Mohammed. Thank you. So I wanted to give you an update on, or an overview, I guess, of the curriculum and the content. So in the MSM, you will earn and complete and earn 36 credit hours. That breaks down to 6 core courses and 3 elective courses. So as you see in this box on the left, the core curriculum is going to give you the business fundamentals, and you can see all 6 topics there. And then you are able to choose 3 electives. We do have a few predetermined paths that you can choose, or you can make your own path, your own elective path. So a lot of, again, a lot of flexibility there, and you really get to choose something that's going to help you in your career. So you may be curious, like, what makes up an Illinois course? There's 2 main components. The first component is on Coursera, and we talked a little bit about taking a MOOC, or a massive online open course, earlier. That is going to be on the Coursera platform. It's a super large educational platform that, again, provides the foundational material in your course. It's going to be pre-recorded videos from your faculty members, your professors here. And then you'll have some self-assessed quizzes, some reading assignments, and some peer evaluations. This is going to be a completion grade that's required for every course. And typically there's 2 of these MOOCs, or 2 Coursera courses, in every Illinois 4 credit hour course. You may have taken one of these in the past, and if you did earn your certificate for that, that progress will migrate over, and we will count that towards your class. You are still going to have the other Illinois portion to complete in order to earn that course credit, but we will make sure that you get credit for all of those MOOCs that you've earned a certificate for. The other part of the Illinois courses is the high engagement components. This is a major part of our courses. It builds upon those 2 massive online open courses, or MOOCs, from Coursera that are included in every course. This portion is really going to give you the real world projects, kind of like what Mohammed mentioned. This is where you're going to collaborate, and you're going to pull through all the concepts that you've learned on Coursera. You will have a live lecture each week where your professor will give their lecture. Those are typically around 90 minutes long. You will also have small group breakout sessions in those live sessions, so you really get to know your fellow students. I saw one question in the chat about our global students. We do offer these live classes at several different times during the day. So professors typically hold them 2 or 3 times, either in a day or just like a Wednesday and a Thursday morning. And you just have to make one of those live sessions. And if you can't make them, we do record them so that you can watch them at a later time. We do recommend trying to make it to the classes and be present in live classes, because that's where you're going to be in front of your professor. You're going to be able to meet your fellow students and really have conversations and have a lot of in-depth learning during those classes. But we understand that people are busy, and sometimes you are going to have to watch the recording, and that's totally fine. You'll also have group projects with 4 to 5 other students in each group, and every professor will have varying amounts of these group projects in their classes. And then lastly, your faculty is going to be available for office hours, which I highly recommend that you attend. They'll be available to discuss current assignments, or you can just have some conversations with the other students in your class and your professor during that time. So together, again, the Coursera and the high engagement component, they work together, and that's what makes up our curriculum and our coursework. Mohammed, can you tell us a little bit about like a group project, and maybe give us an example of one that you've had in one of your classes?
I guess all of our courses have a group project, at least one. It usually comes as a presentation. So one of the most interesting and most recent one was the one I took in the summer semester that the grade just came out I guess 2 days ago. It was in the marketing course we in the simple terms, we built a pitch deck for a startup from scratch, implementing the course materials. So when it comes to, at least for our group, we discussed in our first group session, we thought the marketing course is about, okay, how to run a campaign or something like that. And then we saw, nah, yeah, it's more than that. We have to go deeper, way deeper, before, for example, when you see ads on Facebook, there has been a lot of other steps before that. It's not just targeting, even in the product curation. So our project was, in a nutshell, a new health app. It was on our own to decide what we want. We proposed something, we sent a proposal, and the TA team sent us feedback. Okay, it works, you can continue on that, and these are the things it's better to be changed. And gradually, for each week, not every week, and we had the group project, but for those, and we had the deadline to submit a part that will all contributed to the final project, final presentation we gave, that we gradually worked on some part of the pitch deck and received feedback. It included financial parts, business plan, audience, target market, and validation. One of the platforms we, as the students, as UI/UC, have access to is Qualtrics. It's very huge statistics, maybe studying anything from the market. And there are a lot of use cases, of course, but as we used that, it was a very good platform, and we made a survey, sent out to a group of people to have the feedback from our community, from people, from customers, prospective customers, to learn, is it really a viable idea? We treat it like a real business, not just something we wanted to make some fancy slides or something like that. No, it was very real, it was very serious. And we gradually first worked on the content, and then on the slides design to add some flavors to make it more interesting. And then we had for each, almost every project, group project, we had to record ourselves and give a presentation. There are a lot of ways in the assignment descriptions. Gies provided us how we can record a group presentation. Were from different places, so majority of them were. It's interesting, in my whole course until now, I was the only one, except one fellow from Canada. All of them were based in different states in the US. So it was funny to bring maybe a different perspective how we do business in Europe. It's totally different. I studied also here, and I give a lot of lectures, small lectures, talks to my friends here, how the American version in general and what we learned in Geese as an online program differs from the, let's call, traditional schools. And the very recent update, and that was being able to go to and continue your education from iMSM to iMBA, was where, I guess we can call it a milestone for this program. I guess from our dean, there was a clip I saw a few weeks ago that he mentioned that we are disrupting the industry, the graduate school. And now I see it after we had a few sessions about disruption, innovation, that it's different. So if you see something new, we learn, okay, even Uber wasn't disruptive. It was a very huge new player, but it wasn't disruptive. But I guess this is really disrupting the industry. But to return to the main question about the group projects, It was a very great experience in all of my courses. It wasn't just seeing some videos, reading something. It was implementing, putting it into action to see the results, getting feedbacks from the experts, and we continued to the end and saw the results.
So those were some great examples. I noticed one question too, just going back to that high engagement component. The work week kind of goes from Tuesday or Wednesday to Tuesday. So typically your live classes will be on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You'll have that weekend to work on your group projects, meet with your group, and then assignments will be due typically on Tuesday night, and then you start over. So we have 8-week terms, and so you'll repeat that, and you'll have 8 live classes throughout that term and that course. So hopefully that clarifies that question that I saw in the Q&A. So I want to pivot a little bit from those program specifics and talk a little bit about the network that you're going to build within Geese Online. This slide also speaks a little bit to the mission of Geese to make education accessible to all, being a land-grant institution. So we are, as Mohammed said, trying to disrupt and innovate in this space and democratize education so that everyone who wants to earn one of these degrees or learn and excel in their current career can have that option at a reasonable cost. And so with this slide, you can see that we have 3.1 million MOOC learners that are on that Coursera platform. And then we have 11.3 thousand degree learners. Those degree learners are made up of underrepresented minorities. We have 3.8 thousand women working towards or earning their degrees in our program, which is really fabulous. And then Geese Online in general is in 145 countries we have students from. So, and we also have every US state represented as well. So this reflects the diverse learning environment that Mohammed was really talking about, just as he's mentioned, the Canadian student and students from all over the world are going to be in your live classes and in your group projects, and their education and their experience is completely different than yours. And that's what makes up these rich conversations and collaboration that you're going to have during your group projects and in those live class conversations. So, so this slide just really does talk a lot about that diverse global population that we have in our program. We do expect to have around 5,300 total learners this fall. So very exciting. Combined with the networking that we talked about and the backgrounds that we include in the previous slide, we also like to talk about all of the professional experience that our students bring to the table from all of those diverse communities. And that includes anyone from an entrepreneurial background to nonprofit executives to students who don't have any accounting or management experience. And one measurement of the quality of those backgrounds is the number of Fortune 500 companies that we do have in our program, and 76 of those are represented in the iMSM program. We do have, again, lots of non-traditional backgrounds represented as well. And I did see a question in the chat. You really don't have to have a business background to be successful in the MSM. And in fact, Mohammed, do you feel like this program would be doable or suitable for somebody with little to no background in math, accounting, or finance? What are your thoughts on that?
Before starting the program, I guess it was last summer, we had an onboarding course that provided the basic foundation of math, statistics, and the whole systems that Geese used. A lot of them, because I studied in economics in my undergrads, there were some basics already in place, but if you're from different background from arts that didn't have the time to elaborate on that skills, I guess it's not that much of a problem. Everything you need is available And if there are some specific parts that you are not sure, can I do this? Can I have the knowledge? And you always can reach out the lecturer, the TA team, and ask for any additional materials. But the basic foundation of the math and other skills are provided.
Okay, thank you for talking a little bit about those fundamental courses. Those are key and definitely there if you need them. So we've started diving in a little bit to networking in the program, and I think a question that often comes up is, how do I connect in this virtual environment? Is that possible? How am I going to do that? And believe it or not, this is just a great surprise that you're going to have in the program. There's so many opportunities to network. There's many Geese-led opportunities, and there's also student-led opportunities. And so a few of those opportunities within the Geese-led kind of section are iConnects, and these are meetups that we hold across the United States. Typically, these are designed to help you expand your network. We will feature a keynote speaker, and then members of our leadership team or faculty will be present too. And we'll invite current students to these iConnects. We have immersions, which are domestic and international opportunities to work on a project embedded within a company. You're going to work in a group with many different stakeholders in that community. And these are in-person or virtual kind of opportunities. They do have an extra cost, and I'm going to show you a picture here in a moment from our Seattle immersion that we just hosted. Great opportunity to work on a project, either again in person or virtually. And then lastly, iConverge is something that we host every year. It's a kickoff event in the fall where we invite all of our students to campus for some professional development, networking, and fun. Student-led opportunities are many as well. Upon admission, you will have access to Workplace, which Mohammed mentioned. This is a Facebook or meta group just for our online students. Students share all kinds of helpful tips on classes, degree planning, notes. They have one-page notes to help guide you in your plan. There's peer review questions, all kinds of things. Students share job searches, career advice, or experiences as well. So a lot of times students are also just posting fun pictures of themselves, like where they study, or a graduation picture as well. Key networking tool there, and it's really up to you how much you take advantage of it. Student-led meetups, those happen all the time. They're often organized in that workplace platform that we just talked about. Students will reach out to everybody on Workplace and see who lives close to them. And then anybody who lives close will meet up at a coffee shop or a local restaurant and come together to connect in person. These happen globally. They happen in Colombia. They happen in Europe. They happen in California, Chicago, Detroit, all over. So another great opportunity to meet and network with your fellow students. And then lastly, this is a no-brainer, but group projects that you have in every 8-week term course that you take, you will have these in all of your courses. Every professor, as I said, will have varying amounts of these projects. These will be outside of that live class that we talked about. So you're going to meet with your group, you're going to get to know your fellow students and how they work in a group setting. And then, you're going to meet these students and they will be your friends through the entire program. So we do have a group preference form that you fill out before every course, where we'll ask you some questions about your time zone, when you like to meet with groups, things like that, to enable us to create very diverse groups and groups that work for everyone. So this is a picture of our Seattle immersion trip that we just hosted back in August. These students, around 30 students, explored business in action in Seattle. They traveled with this small group and their professor and had practical application of everything that they've learned up until then in the iMSM program. There is an extra cost for these. And then also, if you are an IMBA student, this could count as one of your capstone projects for that degree. So this was just had some fun pictures of some of the things that they did on that trip. I'm going to go to my next slide, but it's having trouble moving here. There we go. One other example of a Geese-led opportunity is iConverge. This is our yearly kickoff event. And this past fall, we just had 501 students and alumni come to campus. This is not required, but I do encourage you to visit us if you can. We had 38 states and 17 countries. We had a huge group from Singapore that was really fun, that all came together. And we'll have professional development, some fabulous speakers. We'll tailgate and go to a football game. You can meet the leadership team, and many, as 22 faculty members were present at this event. So Mohammed, any plans to ever go to iConverge? I know you live a little bit far from us, but
Yes, I was planning to attend the last year's, but project popped up and again this year. And so, but if it's interesting, we receive a lot of emails, and also on the workplace, people planning a lot of official and unofficial gatherings that, as you mentioned, are very good opportunities for networking. And it depends on you whenever you want, and not wherever, because there are not a lot of them outside, I guess, the US. But I saw, as you mentioned, in Colombia, I saw that one, and there are a lot of opportunities. Hope everyone can find a group and join and enjoys the in-person interaction in addition to the online one.
yeah, it's a great add-on to the experience. Workplace is that group, that the platform that you'll have access to. This is just a couple examples here on this screen. There's one mom who's been taking some of her classes with her child in her lap. This Patrick on the right, he just graduated and was in front of the graduation at the State Farm Center. Actually, that's State Farm Center. And then this other one had two students. This picture on the left was two students in the program that met in Germany, a completely different country, and were able to visit each other's businesses. So just a great place for people to come together. Here's a couple pictures of student meetups. That one on the bottom right happened in Colombia, and there was a Cubs night that they focused on everyone attending the game together. Lots of different opportunities, but students will get together at a coffee shop or a restaurant and just kind of exchange ideas and get to know each other. What's your favorite way to connect with people, Mohammed, out of all of these ways for students to network?
It depends whether the networking part is more about professional or getting to know each other. But the starting point for either case is workplace for me. Then we can arrange things. I guess it was in February. It was a bit after Christmas. I found one of our fellow alumni here in Berlin. We had a meetup. It was great, but you always can see the whole community in the workplace.
Cool. Well, I'm going to jump to our next slide. I want to make sure we have a little time for questions here at the end, so I'm going to try to move a little bit faster. We do have a student and academic success team. This is our group of advisors. So any questions you have about degree planning, what the requirements are, questions about which courses to pair, they are there for you. You can have one-on-one appointments, office hours. There's express advising, all kinds of ways to connect with them. So that is a great resource. Okay, application requirements. I'm just going to launch a quick poll and see what of the application, which part is making you most nervous. I'm just curious, and I want to make sure that I answer all of those questions that you have. So check out that poll on your screen and let me know which part is kind of stressing you out. But as far as what's included in our application, it really shouldn't take you too long to complete. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. We're just asking for a resume that needs to be just 1 or 2 pages, brief overview of your work experience and education, nothing too complicated. We will then need your academic history. And for that, we'll need transcripts of the required bachelor's degree. We do require a bachelor's degree with a minimum GPA of 3.0. I'm going to close the poll. It looks like transcripts and scholarship essay, we will cover that. So thank you for filling that poll out. Unofficial transcripts, really, we just need a scan or a picture uploaded to your application. Just make sure your degree is conferred on your transcript. And then if you're an international student with an international university, you will need all those individual mark sheets as well as a certificate of degree. And then also English translations, an official English translation if it wasn't delivered in English. Personal statement. The prompt is in the application. This is your chance to shine. We want to get to know the real you and why you feel like you're an ideal fit for our program. And so share some cool details about yourself, what your goals are. How is this program going to help you reach those goals? That's the kind of quality responses that we are looking for. Optional essay is for those who want to maybe explain a low GPA from their undergrad, or maybe you have a gap in your work experience, something like that. That's where you would explain that. 2 letters of recommendation. Don't let this stop you or make you nervous. You just need the name and email of at least one supervisor or manager, and then we will go ahead and email them a form to fill out. Very simple. That form does not take them a long time. It'll just ask them, I don't know, 8 or so questions to rank your response, like strongly agree to strongly disagree, and then a few paragraph form questions. So pretty straightforward. We do have an English requirement for international students. If you have any questions on that, please reach out to us, but we do require those tests for international students. We don't require a GRE and a GMAT. I did see this question in the Q&A. If you've taken those tests, you can add that as an additional data point, but we do not require that test. We really don't feel like that is going to be a good indicator of your success in our program. And then lastly, scholarships. So I saw several questions about scholarships. The scholarship application is within our program application, and the question is there too. If you, or the prompt for the scholarship essay. If you are applying for a scholarship, you need to apply by this November 3rd date that's coming up, because that is our final deadline for scholarship recipient or scholarship applications. We offer one scholarship in partnership with Coursera, and that reimburses 70% of your tuition. So an excellent opportunity for a small group of students. It's very competitive. It is need and diversity based, and it's really focused on making our programs more accessible while also trying to impact our global community of students. Let's see. So those are all the scholarships. I did want to mention one other track. We have the performance-based admissions track, which is for students who maybe don't quite meet that 3.0 GPA, or perhaps you want to try out the academic rigor of the program. This PAT track is an opportunity for you to try out 3 courses, and if you earn a B or better in at least 2 of the 3 courses, you'll be automatically admitted as long as you have that 3.0 GPA. So just an excellent opportunity. You will go through the same application process as everyone else, but there will be a program choice that you can specifically apply for that route. All right, we are almost through here. Application review, give us about 1 to 2 weeks to do that initial review. And at that point, we'll reach out with a missing materials email, a decision, or we'll invite you to interview. We do interview every student that's admitted. We'll complete a short 20-minute Zoom interview. Nothing to be nervous about. We're just going to ask you some questions about why you think you're a great fit for the program, and just get to know you a little bit and make sure that your goals line up with the program. Okay, so that was a lot of information. I did want to close out with our next deadline, as I said, is coming up on November 3rd, and you will earn maximum benefits by applying by this deadline. So you'll have access to that workplace platform that we were talking about. You'll have early access to Coursera, the Coursera component of the classes. You can get started on that right away. And if you're applying for the scholarship, you have to apply by November 3rd. That is our last final deadline in order to apply for the scholarship. And then you will also have priority registration. So a lot of benefits there to apply early. I threw a lot of polls at you. Here's my last one. Now that you've heard a lot of information and we've gone over the program, what are your plans? Which of these options describes you best? Give us an idea of what you're thinking. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can take a look at some of the questions that we have. Let's see. So it looks like a lot of you are interested but not quite ready to apply, and a lot of you are ready to apply in the next year. So that is excellent. Allison, any questions that you saw frequently that we could answer for you, or any questions for Mohammed?
I think we got most of the frequently answered questions. We didn't touch upon eligibility for federal financial loans for our students within the program. If you'd like to talk about that a little bit.
So that would be up to everyone to apply for FAFSA on your own, and see if you would be eligible for that. I believe you can drop in the chat the website for that, and people can take a look.
Yep, I'll drop those in the chat as well. That was our big one. Scholarships was also really popular, so we just talked about that. Looks like we have another question, and maybe Mohammed could even chime in on this. Do you think this program is useful for someone who's looking to change their career path? Maybe they're in a very technical role or a technical field now, and they're looking to transition in the future.
Yeah, I had a lot of fellow students in my group projects or talked on workplace who came from IT. And the good thing about generally pursuing a management business degree in general is you will have the exposure to different sides of business, from designing, from managing the projects, from leadership. Then you will have a better understanding about the business bottoms up, and then you have more options. These days, a lot of IT guys are moving toward the leadership positions, less coding, more managing. So it could be a good point, an accelerator for your career if you want to step up and go to your manager, let's say, and I have the required skills. I already demonstrated my competency in the hard skills in coding, for example. Now I know and I'm equipped with the tools to lead the team that I gained throughout this course and ask for promotion.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I think you can think of any career that you could really benefit from learning leadership and management skills too. So I think you hit it on the head. I mean, this can be applicable to many different backgrounds. And Mohammed talked about several. And again, we have students that have just graduated that are looking to get a foundation in these skills, but we also have students who have 10, 20 years of work experience that are very good at their, at their role, and they're well embedded in their career, and they really want to add in leading a team and fine-tuning those management skills, and they do great in the program as well. It does create this really unique learning environment with students who are very quick on recent university kind of content, and then you also have a lot of real world examples from those students who have a lot of work experience. So it really works well together. So great question. Looks like we've answered most of our questions. I'm going to go ahead and throw this last slide up on the screen and throw that QR code right back up there. If you guys want us to connect with you, go ahead and fill that form out, and I will shoot you an email, and we can talk offline. There's also our general email address and our phone. We do answer the phones most of the time. If you don't catch us, you can leave us a voicemail and we will call you back. But many ways to contact us. You can also go ahead and email me myself at ked@illinois.edu. So, but thank you so much to everyone for being here today. We had a great group and lots of excellent questions. Mohammed, thank you for representing the program so well and sharing your experience. We really appreciate your time today. And Allison, as always, you're a great resource, and thank you for answering all of those questions as well. So I hope everyone has a great evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And thanks for being here. We look forward to seeing you and your application soon. Have a great night.